In today's video, we are going to cover the topic of remote hydraulic units in John Deere Dubuque two-cylinder tractors. Our John Deere 430 standard restoration project was equipped with a factory option remote hydraulic unit. A remote hydraulic unit is essentially a hydraulic valve that taps into the live hydraulics of our tractor. It allows us to run a hydraulic cylinder, maybe a different type of an implement, independently or remotely from the tractor. The tractor that we're sitting on is a utility. This tractor is also equipped with one of these valves. It's laid out very similarly to what we're going to see on our standard model. So what I'm going to do is hop off here and we'll lift off the seat and see how things look as far as the anatomy of one of these valves. So what we're going to do is pull our seat cushion off of our utility tractor here. That's going to give us a view of the remote hydraulic valve over here on this side. There's an actuator lever that runs up on the right hand side as you sit on the tractor, and then around back there is a coupler unit on the left hand side as you sit on the tractor. All Dubuque tractors had this coupler on the left hand side except for the tricycle. The tricycle had it over on the right. How it works is we have pressure coming in, our high pressure line from our hydraulic pump. This ties up into our valve. Typically this high pressure line would tap into our touch-o-matic unit up here, but there is basically a bypass that goes up that way when you're not using the valve. When you move your actuator lever, you move a couple spool valves in the valve that direct oil to or from the couplers in the back. Low pressure is returned to our hydraulic unit this way. Normally there would just be a cap on a stock tractor without the valve in that area. So that's the anatomy. I think with that lesson we can hop over in the shop and start taking our valve apart and see what makes the insides work, replace a couple seals, and make everything new again. So let's get after it. So we are back over here in the shop and we are looking at our rebuilt transmission unit here. Our hydraulic valve is going to sit in this region here. There's going to be a mounting bracket for the valve that sits on top of the fender mount once our fender units are installed. When I bought this standard tractor, it did not have the remote hydraulic valve attached to it. When I did the two-cylinder club research, it did show that it was factory equipped with one. It also had the proper bracketing for one, but the valve itself was not there. These valves tended to be leaky and would make a big oily mess, so it may have been that it wasn't worth the hassle of having the valve on the tractor and it could have just been removed at some point. Either way, I had to go looking for some replacement parts, and that's what I did. And I was able to come up with this. And I would tell you, when you're walking through my barn, looking at all my stuff I have stored away, don't judge a container by its cover, because it's probably not what's going to be inside. These plastic buckets are good because they don't fall apart like a cardboard box. You can stack stuff on top of them, and if you can fit parts in them, they're handy for storage. And we have a couple of the unit, a valve, another valve, all kinds of lovely things in here. You see, I found some treasure. So I think what we are going to do is start to dismantle one of these valves. In fact, this one right here, it does look like it's got some of the plumbing that is supposed to be for our standard tractor. Each model of tractor had different styles of, let's call it tubing, depending on where it was mounted. This looks like it would have been for a standard or utility tractor, and this mounting bracket, at least the partial that's there, kind of confirms that. This one was probably a row crop utility or a tricycle, just based on the length and the positioning of the tubing. So some differences there, but the valves for our purposes are basically the same. So I think what we're going to do is start by taking this guy apart right here. So our main valve unit is essentially held together with 4 long bolts. 2 of these bolts are secured to our mounting bracket, whereas the other 2 have nuts on the other side of the valve, sandwiching everything together. So I think I would like to start by removing the 2 that hold the bracket on, and these are a 9/16 head. I don't know what it is about gear oil, hydraulic oil. You get this stuff on your skin, it's going to stick with you for a while. Hence the gloves you see me wearing a lot of the time. Even then, I'll have the gloves and get a little hole in them, and they'll still be pretty potent. A little bit that gets on my fingers. So 2 bolts, bracket, and this bracket, as you can see, was broken at one time. There'd be 2 bolts that would mount that to a fender, I believe. You can even see the casting number. May get a little messy. There's our brake there. You can actually get an idea of the type of seal that was used. It's simply a little cork seal that John Deere had in between these different valves. And I'm going to see if I can upgrade that a little bit when we put ours back together. But one of the reasons why they maybe leaked a little bit was cork sometimes didn't hold up all the well. I think what we'll do is we'll go ahead and take apart the fittings from here and try and get these end caps cleaned up, and then maybe we'll dive into more specifics of our center valve units, because this is kind of where the more interesting stuff happens. There we go. These little plugs, I think these were probably just passages that were opened during the machining process. Let's see if we can't get them out as well. There we are. Alright, so probably the simplest part of the whole valve unit, the top cap, all apart. Down here in the end, we have this big cap, and this is what encases our, basically our pressure override valve. And I know there's a spring in there. I'm sure there's some sort of a way to set your relief pressure. I don't know how much tension is on this guy. There we go. Just a simple spring. And it could be all in the spring as far as how much relief one gets. And I don't know if there is probably a ball in there. Yeah, a little relief ball. Okay. So our 2 end pieces disassembled brings us to the center pieces, and there's 2 ways, 2 things we're going to have to pull out of here. The big spool valve is going to come out this way. We're going to unscrew this cap on the end. It's going to allow us to get in there and release that valve to come out. And then we have the check valve, which is held in with a snap ring up on this end. It can be on there somewhat snugly. So we have a cap. Let's see if we can't just use our little baby screwdriver to advance him out. So once I pull that clip out, I know some tension's going to come off on that. spring. Hopefully not too much. Okay, clip, washer, spring. And that should allow our valve to pass all the way out. Well, there's another washer in there. In fact, I can almost get all the way out, but I heard our check valve click down in there, meaning that there is a narrower spot. Yeah, a narrower spot on our spool valve. So we're going to push him up to allow our check valve to pass that. There we go. Normally the check valve is right here, and when we advance our valve with our actuator lever, it pushes the check valve up with the taper. When we were extracting our valve, that check valve popped down and was up against this piece, and I just took the screwdriver and pushed it up and was able to advance it the rest of the way. So that's what our spool valve looks like. Okay, to remove our check valve, we first have to put a little pressure downwards, which is going to be easier with that big spool valve out. And then there's a little snap ring. It's in here somewhere. There we are. Little snap ring. And then a little bit of persuasion. All the dirt and stuff in there, I'm sure, does not help. There we go. Check valve will come out. Cap. There's a little O-ring that we're going to replace on the end of that cap. Spring. And then the valve itself. So close. Yeah, it looks just like the ones on the Touch-O-Matic unit. There's actually one more piece that goes in there, still down inside. There he is. And these are set with little shims and such on the inside, and very precise tolerances, and I'm not going to mess around with those. It's good to keep all these components with the same valve, and that's what we're going to do. The big spool valve, the check valve, we're going to keep all these with the same unit. They were designed for each other, and I don't know if there's enough variance to cause problems from one to the other, but we're going to keep them all the same. And that is the mechanical parts. There's still an oil seal we're going to pull out of the front here. We'll see about our plugs and our fittings just to get everything off and make it complete. But the next big thing will be just getting this oil seal out, and then this valve unit will be clear and ready for cleaning. So we did get the seal out of the front of our valve housing. I loosened up a couple of the other fittings. One thing I forgot to mention, we were taking stuff apart. Not only do we have these big corks for seals, but there's also a little cork seal that's on our valve bodies. So make sure we pull those out. I think there's one. There might be one on each piece here. There's one there. And then our top. I think there's only 3 of those used. There's one on the valve, and then the bottom. So the corks. But then when we unscrewed our cap out of the end, there's typically a big copper gasket. There we are. In there. So we got to think about him too when we're taking stuff apart. Picture version, there's our parts manual. You can kind of see the visual breakdown of everything in there. Basically, we've got the one valve component apart. Now we're going to go take the second one apart. So we've completely disassembled our remote hydraulic valve. We've got the bottom section, top section, the 2 valve bodies. I think the next thing on the menu is to get all these parts cleaned up. We'll get the grease, the oil off, and then jump over to put some new seals in, get some things back together. So I'm not sure if I will do this as a part 1 or part 2 video, but if this is the end of part 1, I hope you come back for part 2, and we'll see you then.